What up, y'all? Today's episode of the RV Voice is brought to you by RV Fix. And let me tell you, if you've ever found yourself stranded with an RV issue miles from the nearest service center, you know how frustrating that can be. Well, that's where RV Fix comes in. Imagine having a master RV tech right in your pocket. Yeah, you heard that right. With RV Fix, all it takes is a quick phone call and boom, you're connected via video call with an expert who can guide you through fixing your issue, saving you both time and money. Then here's the kicker. Try RV Fix risk-free with a 14-day free trial. You'll need to enter your card number just like most subscriptions, but don't worry, you won't be charged until after the trial ends. If you decide to continue, please use the code RVVoice at checkout. This really helps support the RV Voice and keeps us going strong, and we really appreciate it. Seriously, guys, this is a game changer. Stay on the road and keep your RV in tip-top shape with RV Fix. Learn more at rvfix.com. What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the RV Voice. We have some full-timers who started about 3 years ago. They're coming up on their third year anniversary. Their first 6 months in their travel trailer with their 4 kids and a dog. They had a cat at one time, but the cat decided to live its own life. But anyway, the first 6 months, they lived stationary in their travel trailer, and they got 4 kids. They found the perfect travel trailer for them. It's a double bunk. But anyway, they've been at it for, like I said, 3 years, coming up on their third year anniversary. They're in a Dutchmen double bunk. They're in Florida right now, but they're from South Carolina, and they've been to 21 states, and we're going to hear their story today. So welcome, Josh and Lola McCrae from Living the McCray Way. Welcome, you two. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having
us. Absolutely. I love talking to new people. It's like my favorite thing. I get to meet people from all over the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, if you guys don't mind, let's kind of hop into it, right? You guys are from South Carolina, you said, right? And you've been living in Florida or lived in Florida for quite some time before you started this full journey into the RV life, right? So what inspired you to transition into the full-time RV life? And can you share how it all started?
Right. Well, the RV life kind of, it wasn't a choice. You know, we were voluntold. Yeah. You know, because we had the 9-to-5 grind, living in the house. We're paying rent on time. She was a teacher. I drove trucks. You know, I was always gone, 24/7 from the kids. And, and then there was a point in time where COVID hit, right? Oh, yeah. And then COVID hit. And then all of a sudden, the folks that owned the house sold the house while we were living in it. Yeah. We didn't get a heads up. Oh, by the way, it was a note to my wife while I was gone. Hey, you have 3 days to get out. 3 days. The house is sold. That's it.
They gave us 3 days with 3 days to get out with 4 kids. We both were still working, and when the guy knocked on the door, I go, the kids go, there's some random guy out here. And I go, well, who is he? Don't open the door. And they go, we don't know. And so I go to the door and he goes, I'm your new landlord. And I go, well, what happened to the old guy? We didn't get any notice. And he goes, well, I'm the new guy and you have 3 days to get out. And I'm sitting there like, this gotta be a prank. Where's the cameras? Right. And I was like, Are they joking? And he was like, no, you have 3 days. And I looked at him and I said, do you see these 4 kids? That's impossible.
School just started. Yeah, it was. And so, what can you do? You just, from that point on, we said, okay, now it's time to find a new spot. Find a new spot to rent. We wanted to buy, but we weren't ready yet. So the goal was to find a new spot to rent. But of course, prices have been skyrocketed. Mm-hmm. The neighborhoods weren't what we wanted to pay for our kids. And so we're at a law like, okay, now, so what do we do? So I came with the mindset to go to a hotel. It wasn't ideal, but you need a place to stay. Yep. And so it's okay. It'll be temporary, for a couple of weeks. So we found some place, but
turn it to what?
2 weeks, turn it to 6 months living in a hotel.
Yep.
Paying about $400 a week. Still working, kids still in school. Fast forward, she came with the idea, said, how about an RV? And I trust her 1,000%. She said RV.
He was like,
let's do it.
He was like, yeah, let's do it. Because after a while, I was like, this can't be our reality. Like, we can't just keep looking at places, finding nothing. Then we're in a hotel. We weren't in like what people would think glamorous hotel. We were in a hotel where there were 2 beds, a kitchen, a toilet right in front of the beds. we were all cramped in there, still living everyday life. And I was just like, this gotta give.
Right.
And so we immediately, once he said yes to RV life, I was like, okay, we are going to start looking like ASAP. And so I was looking every day. I was at work teaching on my break, and I would be looking, sending him pictures. I'd be like, what do you think about this? He said, but you're at work. I said, so? I said,
I'm in the bathroom.
So we were looking. And then what happened was everything we were finding, we weren't getting discouraged, but everything we were finding, as soon as we would go to message them, because we were on Facebook Marketplace, everything we would find, they would say, oh, the person, we just sold it.
Gone.
And we were like, oh my God, are we ever going to find anything? And then one day, right as I had picked up the kids from school, I found one and messaged the guy, and the guy goes, well, if you're seriously interested, you can come and look at it, but I got 20 other people looking. And I was like, 20 other people? We're number 21. I was like, okay, so I had to jump into action. I was like, and what was so funny was we were at Walmart shopping, and as we're shopping, I'm pushing the cart and looking at the phone and messaging. I'm like, how about this? I'm going to come to you right now. I said, I don't even have my husband, so I was not fully confident in anything I was doing. I was just like, knowing that we needed to do this. And so I was like, I'm going to drive to you. Now, mind you, the person who had the RV, they were an hour away from where we were. And it's about 5 or 6 o'clock. I had to get there. I get there with the kids, and the kids go, how do we know this isn't a scam? And I'm like, we don't know that it's not a scam. So I'm like, we're just going with it at this moment.
Yeah.
So I gave him half of our money, not knowing if this was a scam. I gave him half of our money, and I sat there with him, and I told him, I said, if I'm giving you half of my money, you have to take it down immediately. Like right now, show me that you're taking it down. So he showed me that he was taking it down. And then the funny thing was, we didn't have a truck to pull it. We had nothing. So we had to figure it out. And
it was that gut feeling, like this is it. It got 4 beds in it. We have our own bed. I mean, it was perfect. So you had to go where your gut say, this is it. It's meant to be. We'll figure out the truck later on. So she gave the man half the money. I was gone. And I said, you know what? We don't have a truck, so we'll get a U-Haul. Yep. So boom, went to the U-Haul place. Read the U-Haul. Went down to the guy. Gave us the money. Looked at it. Inspected. It all looked good. Smelled good. And that's it.
That count.
You know, it looked good, smelled good. We didn't smell any mold. The tires were good. The propane good. The fridge was good. The store. I mean, we checked everything that we could, that we know of. You know, we were fresh about it. And so we pulled to a Walmart that very night. You know, Wally docked for the first time.
Yep. And
you know, and so at that point we were happy because it was ours.
It was ours. Yeah.
You know, no one could take it away. It was ours, paid full in cash. And we were happy, excited, you know, something new and fresh.
Yeah.
And so from that point on, we said, you know, okay, so now what? We can't stay here forever in Walmart parking lot, you know. So we go on Google and look up RV parks, you know. So we're checking out the scene. And then our first RV park was called Hannah Park in Jacksonville by the beach. Stayed there for about a week, and it was perfect, right by the water, you know. And it was a fresh start to the RV life.
Did you feel like that was like, this is meant to be?
Yeah, we felt it. Because when we pulled up, us not knowing what we're doing, nobody in our family ever owned an RV or talked about it. We pulled up to that park, and there were people who just came running to us like, do you need help? Do you need to? And we were like, what is happening?
It was very welcoming.
I looked at him, and I was like, is this real life? And then from there, every person we met was, they were helping us. It was just nice.
It was all meant to be.
Yeah, I've heard, you know, from everyone that I've met in the RV community, I'm kind of new in the actually, like, I guess the RV community, online community. You know, I'm not in the RV space. I'm in the RV space, obviously, but like, I'm not at the parks. You know, I don't go RVing with everybody full time, whatever it may be.
Right.
But from what I can tell, is that it's all very welcoming. Right.
It is.
I don't feel or major fronts by anybody, by no means. People are very welcoming. It seems like at the RV parks, obviously it's like-minded people, right? So you're around people that have similar mindsets, similar wants, similar beliefs. And people are like, I want to help those guys out because, you know, I was there. I've been there, I've been to the first day, but you guys had a totally different situation. You just got booted out of your house because Florida says that's okay. In 3 days, you're living in a motel for 6 months.
6 months.
Crazy. And then you're like, you know what? Maybe the RV life's the right way. And it sounds like the stars aligned for you. You have a little help from up above, wherever it may be. And it worked out for you guys perfectly. It sounds like you're still doing it 2.5 years later. So that's commendable.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah, man.
That's freaking cool. So your preparation and planning doesn't look like everybody else's.
No.
And we hear the story all the time. People say, well, I sold it all. I sold the house and then got into it. Nah, man, we were like, this is going to happen today.
Yeah.
And so you guys didn't really have, I'm kind of curious because your preparation and planning was not like everyone else, right?
Yeah.
There are a couple people that, like you just said, they sold everything within like weeks and then ended up in an RV. There's other people that also plan like months ahead. So what did it look like for you guys? I know you said you had the 4 kids, so you're looking for the RV that made sense for you guys and your family. But how did you go about choosing, or were you just looking and kind of just doing your own research by like common sense knowledge, I guess? Because the RV space is different than going into like a new rental apartment, new house, new whatever that may be. So how did you guys go about that?
Yeah, I would say,
Lola, or did you also look, Josh?
So I did most of the looking because he was driving trucks, so I had more downtime to be the one to be looking. And so without knowing, basically what an RV really looks like inside, outside, what we should be actually looking at, we knew that we didn't want the kids to all be in one area. We knew that we wanted them to kind of have their own area. So we kind of mapped out what we wanted in an RV. And so we kind of basically went off of our ideas once we were looking at them. And we kind of had to learn as we went along because we didn't know what a travel trailer was. We didn't know what a Class A. We didn't know what any of the terminology was. And so as we were on Facebook Marketplace looking, and I would find something and he goes, "What's that?" And I go, I told him, I said, "I don't know. This is what I'm seeing." I said, "So what do you think about that?" And he would look at the pictures, and then he would get back to me, and he go, "I don't think I like that." And then we would also show the kids, because how we parent is, you're a kid, this is your life, you have a say. So we gave them a say. Our children are heavily opinionated. Oh, yeah. So we said, "Do you like this?" And they go, "I don't think I like that one.
Ain't it right there.
That ain't it. I don't like the color, or I don't like how the setup is." And so when we found the one that we have, and I go, "Take a look at this. Each person has their own bed." They immediately, instead of saying, "I don't like it," "Oh, that's my bed and that's my bed," they were already sold before we could even be like, "This is the one that we're getting." Yeah.
That's awesome. So how far apart are they on the front to the back?
So our youngest is 6, our oldest is 13, the 2 in the middle are 8 and 10.
So about 2 years apart.
Yeah. So they're like, each of them are like 2 years and some months apart.
Yeah.
So how does, since they're all in the back, I mean, I've seen you guys, I've been watching you guys for a while. It seems like everybody's pretty lovely. Like, it seems like you're pretty tight. I mean, y'all cuddling a lot, picking boogers and stuff. I've seen that. I love that.
The mom is like,
I gotta get them boogers, like, wake up. You like up in there.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, that's going to be me.
Yeah.
But how is that? So you're kind of getting to that. Is your oldest a boy or a girl?
A girl.
Girl. So like.
So we have 2 of each.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you're getting into that kind of preteen stage. I'm like, how does that? A lot of full-time RVers are kind of in that, that's like their oldest. So from what I've seen, like that's their oldest is right about that preteen era. I haven't really talked to anybody much older than 14, I don't think. I've talked to, 40 maybe-ish full-time RVers. So how is that, I guess, the dynamic? Has it started to change at all since they're all in the one space, or how does that look? Just out of curiosity, that's actually not even written down, but that's where I'm at right now.
No, that's good. I think so. How we parent, we give our kids the open door policy. Like for a job, you have the open door policy. Something's wrong, come to us, no judgment. Say what's on your mind, say what you feel. and we're not going to yell. We don't yell in our house at all. We don't yell. They have never been hitting. They have never been on punishment. They don't know what that's even like. Yeah. So with our 13-year-old, we noticed that she had her little, her what's it called? Her hormones are on the rise, right? So she's into a point where she gets a little upset sometimes, but I understand from a male point that she's going through those changes. And so I said, hey, look, if you feel a certain type of way, come to me or mom, see how you feel, and we can talk about it. And so that approach has been very good for us so far. Mm-hmm. You know, she hasn't like yelled at us or out of rage or anything like that. She's been cool about it. Her siblings have been cool about it. We've always been a close-knit family, and the love has always been there, always will be. So it's all about being open and honest and to say how you feel. Mm-hmm. If you're upset, if you don't like that, say, hey, I don't like that. And we go from there. We figure it out. Mm-hmm. So that's our policy. And
she gets lots of space because her siblings are like, you want to play? And she's like, no, not today. I just want to do my thing. So they leave her alone. But then she's also different because when we go places and, you know, preteens now, they're doing things that, you know, she's like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't feel like I'm ready for that. And she's like, I want to hang out with you guys. And so sometimes I'm like, dang. Yeah. Dang, our teenager is different. She still want to hang out with us. And I'm just like, okay, how long will this last? She goes, I kind of really like you guys. And I'm like,
hey, man, thank you. Thank you. Man, keep it groovy.
I'm like, okay, I'm still cool, Mom. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Still got it.
Yeah. Right. Listen.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like look back on that for like my family. Right? I have two older sisters. Love them to death. We're best friends. When I was a kid, we were not best friends, like at all. They were like mortal enemies, right? You do not talk. Right. You don't push their buttons. I mean, which I did. I'm a little brother at heart, right? I can do that.
Right. Oh yeah.
But it was like full-fledged fights. My head went through drywall as a kid, like from my sisters pushing me through it. I mean, yeah, dangerous. But like, I could not imagine living in an RV with my two older sisters.
See, that's how I am. My situation sounds just like your situation. I was the youngest with two older brothers. We fought. We wrestled.
WWE.
I couldn't imagine living in an RV with my family. So I'm just like, yeah, I get it. Oh yeah.
Two older brothers would have been a breeze.
In my house, it was not. We fought every day. You said drywall. I was going through the drywall.
Yeah. I'm tougher than them now, though. You know, I'm tough.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh shoot! So, all right. Well, thank you for that. That was a little tangent, but I've always kind of thought about that question. It happens all the time when I'm in interviews. I'm like, okay, well, what about this? I never thought about that, so I had to ask. But anyway, when you guys went about choosing your RV, you guys said, the kids were also in their opinion mattered with that. But what advice would you give someone that's trying to select their first RV, coming from scratch like you guys did, not knowing diddly squat about RVs? You know, besides the fact that there's a trailer or a drivable, right? What advice would you give to someone that would be selecting their first RV?
I think for us, what mattered was what matters to you. You know, we did have a dinette table because we love to eat together, play games together. So that was important. We did have a dinette, but we did take it out. But we put rugs down so that we still eat in a circle and still play games together. Yeah. So I think if you want to have space for you guys, for them to like have family time, that's important. Yeah. If you want to, if they want to share beds, you know, if you're okay with that, then that's fine. Find out what's important to you. Because in the long run, that's what's going to matter. Mm-hmm. Don't look at it where, okay, we've been in for 4 months, which could turn into 2 years. Mm-hmm. You know, our whole situation was the hotel was meant to be for a couple of weeks, but it turned into 6 months. Yeah. So find out what's important. You know, we had 2 beds in the hotel, but we were close knit, so that was okay for us. So for that new family or individual, find out what matters to you first.
Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people, I know we hear a lot of people, we talk to a lot of people and they say, well, I've seen this person have this and this person have it. And we always say, well, you can't go off of that person, because when you get in it, you got to customize it to what you need and what you like. So it has to feel like home for you, because if it doesn't feel like home for you, it's not going to work. And we hear so many people say, oh, this RV life sucks because it's too small, or we are on top of each other. And for some people like us, we're okay with being on top of each other. But for other people, they need a lot of space. And then for somebody else, they may not need a lot of space. So I would say, go based off of what your needs are and not based off of what you see other people doing.
Yeah, so basically list out what's important, right? So
yeah, what's important for you.
You got 4 kids. That's a must. You have to figure out how you're going to do that. Family time is important to you. You also were okay with literally sleeping on top of each other. Like you lived in a 6 months by more so necessity, right? You had to be in the hotel. And then you're like, well, let's move in the RV, but they all got their own bed. So it worked out perfectly. Plus, you're tight knit. I can see it when you watch your page. If you haven't checked out their Instagram, go check them out because they're wonderful. I love this stuff. Yeah, the booger thing, it cracked me up, dude. I was crying. That's hilarious. Yeah, man. Wake up. Oh, it had me going. But yeah, it's just like it's a list of pros and cons, what you need. And, for you, it happened just maybe a little quicker than everybody else just because of your situation at the time, right? So, but anyway, you said you're a teacher, and we're going to get into homeschooling here eventually. But next is like daily life challenges and solutions. I love talking about this because it's changed since, you were on the road trucking and you were teaching, right? So those things have changed. What's a typical day look like for you guys while living in the RV? First question. I got a couple questions here.
I tell people this all the time. Our days are always different. So today is going to be different from yesterday, and tomorrow is going to be different. So we're not a family that we have a schedule where you got to do this at this time. So right now, what it used to look like, we had a schedule. We were like chickens with our head cut off running everywhere. We had to do it by this time. But now we're so lenient and so slow. We move at a slow pace. So in the morning, shucks, we wake up when we feel like waking up. It's like, when does your internal clock say get up, get up? So the kids don't have a set time to wake up. They don't have a set time to start school. So once everyone is up, then we start breakfast. And then eventually we get into it. We either do school in the daytime or in the evening or sporadically just throughout the day. So we don't have that, you got to do this by a certain time. It has to be done like that. So we're basically going with the flow type of living right now.
Yeah, and that's because if you ask any adult, do you love your schedule? They hate their schedule. Yeah. They hate getting up at 7, 6 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? They hate having to follow a structure. People aren't meant for structure that every single day, 24/7, because you're going to go crazy. So like you said, we wake up, we eat breakfast, we may do school, or we may go for a walk. Mm-hmm. We have a little free time to play games together. And then we may go eventually somewhere else. Or we might say, hey, today's an admin day. We got to pay bills, or we got to go grocery shopping. So it varies every single day.
Yeah, it's the definition of crazy is doing the same thing every single day. Right now, routine isn't all bad, right? But also, like the structured life, I don't like showing up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. every day. I don't like getting up at 6:30 every day. I don't like that. I like today. I was like, I slept like crap. I could have slept till noon today. I woke up like I am so tired. But
we get it, man.
Right. You cut out there a little bit, but I think I got the gist of it. You guys used to live on a little bit of a structure when you first started the idea, but it became to say, hey, this is the important stuff, right? It'll all get done in due time if we do it nicely versus like time. Yes. Yeah. So you kind of remove the roadblocks, I guess, for that, right? Is that what I'm saying? What I'm hearing?
Right.
Very much so. Yes.
Perfect. So with 6 people in there, how do you guys go about regular everyday tasks, cooking, cleaning, laundry on the road? Because those things have changed since being in a house.
Right.
Yeah. So what's so wonderful about having kids? Hey, they help out with a lot of stuff. So our 4 kids, they love cooking. So sometimes they'll cook breakfast. They might cook breakfast. Like one morning, we were still sleeping. We smelled food, and I was like, "Oh, it smells good. That can't be us." Woke up, they had breakfast cooked. They had already had the kitchen clean. And so it kind of takes off of mom and dad having to do everything, because they do some of the things. They clean up where it needs to be cleaned up. As far as laundry, we don't have a washer and dryer in our RV. So when we're traveling, we have to find a laundromat to go to, and they help out with that as well. As far as
cleaning, it's
all hands on
deck.
6 people living in one house. Our policy is if it's dirty, you clean it up. If you see it's dirty, you clean it up. I mean, if you're hungry, we taught them how to cook. Even our 6-year-old, he started cooking when he was 4, and he loves cooking. Yeah. So all of them know how to cook. Yeah. If they're hungry, they'll cook. If they want to make dinner, they'll ask to make dinner. So it kind of balances it out where everybody's helping out.
Right. I think the whole idea is to teach them to be self-sufficient. Yeah. That's the whole goal. Right. Yeah. I mean, we've seen adults who can't cook a meal, you know what I'm saying, or they can't do laundry. So we're not going to have that in our house. We're going to be self-sufficient so that when you leave our house, you have everything you need. Yeah.
That's perfect. Great idea. Got to put them kids to work early.
Yes, sir. Gotta do it. Get to work.
I loved cooking at a young age. That was my thing. I did my chores properly. That's what my mom always says. I don't know. I just like, hey, that's what I got to do. You feed me. But yeah, learning to cook at a young age. I mean, what a skill to have.
Yes, it is.
Right? Save some money, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I cook. I cook all the time because, like, I understand like how much money it actually can be cost. Like, I've done that. I used to work semi on the road. I was a roof salesman, so I lived out of my truck for like 2 years, and did very well doing so. But it's hard to take meals with you and keep them cool or keep them warm, whatever you had to do, and then heating them up. Oh man, what a pain in the butt. So learning at a young age, that's super awesome. So since you guys have moved into the RV, what are some of the biggest challenges you've come across, and how did you fix those challenges or go about fixing those challenges? Because you're 6 of you, so there had to be some challenges.
You know, we got that a lot, but to be honest,
no challenge.
I mean, that for I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's not really, because we do everything together. Sure. You know, we have one shower. We take turns. You know, they know, hey, 2 minutes and you're out. You know, military, get in and get out.
Yep.
You know,
what a chore. I hate showering. I wish I had like a car wash. Just walk in there, press the button.
Right.
Yeah. That would be so nice. Heck.
I'm so tired by the end of the day. I wish it was just like
somebody just spray you up.
I don't. Yeah, we've had that question before, and we thought about it long and hard. I'm like, I don't know, man, because I mean, like I said, I mean, the kids gonna fight back and forth from time to time because that's being siblings, but they don't like get scrappy and like bleed to death.
It's funny fights.
It's funny fights.
I think our kids have funny fights because they say crazy stuff. Like they had an argument once, and we looked at each other like, that's not.
Did they just say that?
Did they just say that? Like, okay, so each of them were born differently, and they know that. So that's one of their arguments. When they get into an argument, our youngest girl, she was born through C-section. So she'll say, well, you guys came out the butt and I came out the stomach. And I'm like, what kind of argument is this? And this? Are y'all really arguing? They'll argue. And I'm just like, what? Okay, that's not what we argued as growing up as kids, but okay. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, but as far as right, yeah. So I mean, yeah. As far as challenges, no, we haven't. Do you got anything?
No, I don't, because they get loud. But when they get loud, we get loud with them. So we kind of counteract some of the stuff they do. Mm-hmm. But it's never. It's never a challenge.
We play music loud. Yeah. We get. I don't know.
It's
hard to say. I don't even know. Not yet, at
Here,
least.
I'll give you some ideas. How about maintenance and service for your RV? That's got to be somewhat of a challenge living on the road.
So we have had our RV. Well, this will be 3 years, and surprisingly, our RV is an older RV. So it's a 2006 RV. Surprisingly, we've been blessed with it not having like major issues. So we have just this year, well, was it this year? Yeah, this year. We've just this year had like major issues. And the issues weren't caused by I wouldn't say the issues were caused by the RV. It was caused by the bad structure of Florida's roads, where we hit something. We were driving at night, we hit something, and it caused the whole wheel hub to come off, but the wheel hub came off with the wheel. We were still driving. We did not know that the wheel had came off until we got to the truck stopped for the night, and he goes, "We don't have a wheel." And I go, "What? That's
the wheel came off."
I said, "That's not even possible." And I look at it, I go, "Well, where did the wheel go?" So we had drove without a wheel on the RV. For
about 30 minutes.
So that was our first major thing that we had happen to the RV, and that just happened in January.
Yeah.
And so,
but still, when we had insurance, it got fixed. We stayed in the hotel for a week. They paid us back for reimbursement. So I mean, now we have to get our gray tank hose.
Oh
fixed.
yeah, our gray tank hose got messed up in that process where it cut the hose tank off.
Yeah,
but before then, we had no issues.
No issues. When we renovated, we painted. We put a new shower head in. I mean, it was just us doing renovations. So no water leaks. I redid the roof last year. So it's like learn as we go, and nothing. It's not a headache. I'll say that.
That's awesome. Good for you guys. That they say I've heard this several times because I've been in the RV industry for a little over 3 years now. The pre-2008 crash is like when RVs were built pretty damn solid up until
we will say that because we've known people who have RVs that are 23, 24, and their RVs have been in the shop for 6 months. And I'm like,
I don't want that.
No.
You keep it.
I'll keep the older.
Right.
That's all yours.
Keep the older.
So far, fortunate.
Yeah, you're doing really well with that. So good for you guys. What about shipping packages or receiving mail and packages on the road? How do you guys go about that?
So far we've been work camping. So any work camp position that we have, we get our mail through them. So we haven't had a problem with them. Since we haven't been work camping for the winter, we have gotten escapees. So we're in the process of getting that set up to get escapees mail. So we're going to see how that works out for us as we're traveling this year. But prior to any work camping place that we've been at, we have gotten our mail through them.
Oh, so you guys work camp. We'll get into that a little bit here more later. But so escapees. Can you explain what that is a little bit? I'm not familiar. I've heard it once or twice.
Escapees is a mail service for nomads. So if you are any type of nomad, you don't have to have just an RV, but any type of nomad, you can sign up for an escapees membership. And how the mail service works is you pay that flat fee for that year. And then they'll send your mail over to you wherever you are. You can get it either scanned. You can get certain mail scanned if you don't want all of it. They'll scan it for an extra fee. Or you can just get them to send you all of your mail wherever you are. And I know that certain campgrounds will charge you like maybe a small fee of like $10 to get the mail, but they'll send it all to you. And they have 2 different addresses. So you have Florida and Texas. So you can either have, if you're going to do the Florida domicile, you get a Florida address for like insurance, government stuff. And then you get the Texas address, which would be your personal address for you to receive your mail. And then they'll just forward it all to you wherever you are.
Interesting. I've never, yeah, because you guys don't have a permanent address, so you need a permanent address, right? Like a PO box.
So they give you that permanent address, which it ends up being, you end up having 2 addresses if you go with the Florida for your domicile. So Florida address would just be used for things like insurance purposes, IDs, things like that. But then your permanent address for like packages wise would be the Texas address.
Interesting. Well, I appreciate diving into that a little bit. It's something that I'm sure it comes across the people's minds when they decide to go full time. They're like, well, how the hell do I do this? And the people that, own RV parks, they take advantage of that a little bit. That's like not very nice. You can ship it here, but $10. Like,
right.
Like it's not, you're not getting charged more. You're just making money off me for no reason.
That part,
I'd be a touch angry about it, but whatever.
Some people are. They're like $10.
Right.
Yeah. It was a $9 toy.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. So, Lola, you came from the teaching world, right? You taught for how long did you teach, or do you?
I taught for this is 8, so about 8 years because I started teaching before he was born.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you got 4 kids running around with you. How do you handle homeschooling? Because there's a whole bunch of different ways to do that. Like different apps, different whatever online communities for that. And do you feel like you've caught some hate for homeschooling your kids and being on the road with homeschooling your kids? It's a good one. It's a good question.
That's a good question because I'll start with the last part. So once we decided to homeschool, which that came much after we had already been in the RV for 6 months. So after we decided we were stationary for 6 months, then we decided we were going to hit the road. That's when we started homeschooling. And so when we decided to start homeschooling, we told our family. They were like, what are you guys, homeschooling? And so somebody we know said, do you think you're better than the teachers? And I go, well, I was a teacher. Yes, I do think I'm better than the teachers. And I was like, seriously? So nobody was on board with it. Yeah. So everyone we told that knew us, they were not on board with it. They were like, you guys are messing up. Those kids are going to not like it. They're going to hate it. You guys aren't going to do a good job. And so I said, do you guys not remember I was a teacher? Like, I am a teacher. Like, what do you mean we're not going to do a good job? So we just were like, whatever. We don't go by the opinions of others. So we were like, okay, we're still going to do it regardless of what you think anyway.
Mm-hmm. It was too foreign.
And so every few months we do ask our kids, do you enjoy homeschooling? And they go, heck yeah. We don't want to go back. Why didn't you already do this in the beginning? Like, why would we go back? Yeah. So they love it. As a parent who was a teacher, I enjoy doing it because the reason why I initially gave up my position as a teacher, I was burnt out. I was completely burnt out. I was coming home every day and he was sick of me because I would come home ranting. I would be like, this is what happened today. And I don't know if I could do this anymore. And so it was the summer of that year before we started full time. I was like, supposed to go back to school. And then all these crazy things were happening with my school. And I was like, I don't think I want to go back. And he goes, well, then just don't go back. And I go, really? And I just didn't go back to work. And so my principal, she wasn't happy. She was like, are you serious? We need you. And I go, but my family needs me. My family comes first. So I am shucks. I always tell them, I say, I'm living my best life. I don't have to wake up at 6:30 in the morning and I don't have to prepare lesson plans. I don't have to worry about other people's children. I get to prepare and do for my own family. I'm like, I'm living my best life right now. I'm like, yeah, why would I ever go back? And my mom always asks me, she says, are you ever going to go back to teaching? I said, I am teaching my own kids. I go, no, I'm not going back. I don't think I can ever do that again. So we enjoy it. Our approach to the way we homeschool, I don't just do it all on my own. We tag team. So we work together. We both teach them together. We don't use a curriculum. We don't have a program that we sit them with. We do it based off of what they need, what they want, And then we also are heavy on the books. So we have a lot of books that we travel with. We go to the library pretty often.
We don't do the apps.
We are Barnes and Noble people. We are heavy on the books. So we do a lot of reading. We do a lot of knowledge-based learning. What do you want to learn? What do you feel like you would like? What's your interest? And so we go based off of that. We don't test, because as a teacher, I don't believe that tests are a way to tell me that this is what the kid knows. It's a way to tell me what they memorized. So we eliminate tests at all costs.
I love that. I love that.
Yes, because as a teacher, I would have to prepare students to memorize all this information just for the test. And when the test was over, I would ask them these questions and they weren't able to tell me anything. And I'm like, these tests are bogus. And when our oldest, she had to take this mandatory test that told them if she would pass, she had anxiety. And I said, kids are not supposed to have anxiety at this age. I said, this is what starts and messes us up as a society, because we give them so much pressure on top of what they already have in life. And so they're already messed up before they become adults. So I was like, if as parents we can eliminate this and we can set them up for a better future, why not?
That's it.
Absolutely. I believe in that. There's a lot of, I think there's a lot of hate because you're taking them out of the societal norm, right? You're taking them out of like, hey, you're going and learning how to work in society. I mean, that's what the public school system is meant to do, really create the 8 to 5 worker. Well, certain kids have certain strengths, and it does. I highly agree that it does help connect neurons, right? Like, okay, this is the basis of what you should kind of learn, because it does help connect neurons in your head. It does make you smarter in the long run, but you also get the social anxiety. If you can't memorize this, you're a bad student. No, that means nothing. What it does mean is that you can memorize. Okay, cool. But when in life, besides being like a medical emergency doctor, EMT, maybe a police officer, that you need to have, you won't have access to information. You will always have access to information, for the most part. Yep. But like certain things, certain professions, no. Plus, I think that the fact that you guys, if your kids are 6 to 13 years old, you've been to 21 states. Most kids don't leave their state until they're 14, 15, 16, whether it be sports or academics or traveling with the family, because they're finally at an age where you all feel comfortable to do so, versus having a baby strapped to you and going across state lines or whatever. I think these kids are going to come out well more rounded, more cultured, seeing things, being able to interact with other people from different states differently. Because, you go across the U.S. The U.S. is massive. I've been to Europe. I did a full loop around Europe. Every 2 hours, language changes, money changes, everything changes within 2 hours of each other. It's not the same with the U.S. We got a little lucky, but there are different, English languages within U.S.
Like
right? So you're going to come out, different sects, right, with the T. But it's just, it's true, and I think these kids are going to come out well more cultured. Plus, you're at RV parks with all their full-time families or harvest sales. You're meeting so many people, so many different types of people, different cultures of people. It's just like these kids are going to come out just fine. They're still meeting kids their age at the RV parks. Do you guys do 1,000 trails and stuff like that as well, or no?
We don't do 1,000 trails. We have harvest holes and RV overnights, and then with us work camping.
Now the work camping works out perfect because, like last summer we were in Texas and the kids met a host of kids and they now they have friends in Tennessee or North Carolina, Minnesota, so all over. So they're always meeting new kids at these work camp places.
Yeah, most definitely. So do you think? And so you're kind of, you guys help tag team the teaching. Do you guys feel that your kids are thriving from an education standpoint where they are at their age?
Yes.
I would say so, because our 10-year-old, she has ADHD, and so her teacher would send home notes every single day. She got to sit down, or she's talking too much, and I'm like, man, this is nerve-wracking. And now she reads better than she was reading. You know, our 8-year-old, he's reading above his age. He can read almost anything. Yeah. You know, our 13-year-old, she was in school up until 5th grade, so she already has the basics. So what we're doing is we're building onto those basics.
Yeah. And our 6-year-old, he never was in school, so he learns the same thing that each one of them learns. So he knows everything that they know. Because he had a conversation with someone, and the person said, "How does he know that?" And I go, "Because we teach him, man. He's learning with his siblings, so he's learning what they're learning." Right. Yes.
Right. The thing with us, there are no barriers. Yeah. When it comes to learning.
So we don't put an age on things. As like school says, at this age you're supposed to know this, and we gotta stop you at this age because you're not ready. So in our house, is whatever you can comprehend is what you're learning.
And you can see how wonderful the brain is, because with kids, they pick up so fast, and they're able to learn. If you put it in front of them and you teach them and you talk to them, and they will pick it up quickly.
Very much so. I was like that for a little while, and then like they try to beat your personality out of you too at a social, you know.
Yes.
I went to a private school, pro school. I am very, very grateful for where I grew up and how I grew up, because I got surrounded by very good people. I was a lucky one. I'm still friends with my classmates from preschool. I went through K through 12 with them. I'm very lucky, but that is not the standard. I've met thousands of people. Right. No one has what I have. Very, very few people do. But again, you know, the memorization thing, I think you guys are doing it the right way. I had talked to someone else recently, I think it was last week, that was they go about teaching at all times, literally at all times. They're like, all right, well, you know, that's laundromat. How do we get to $1.50 to put in this dryer? Well, how many quarters?
That's right.
How many dimes? You know, I mean, there's always constant learning, being able to be taught. All right, you're going to order dinner tonight. That's a social skill, you know.
Yes.
We do that all the time. You know, last month we were in a hotel, and we had our 10-year-old order dinner. Hey, you're gonna dial a number, you're gonna say what you want, see how much it costs. I'm gonna give you your money. You're gonna go to the door, pay for it, and you get change back, go give them a tip, and then you come back. That's one-on-one life skills.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. Lola, what grades did you teach when you were teaching?
I was a kindergarten pre-K teacher.
Oh, really? So yeah,
I had the beginning. Yeah.
That's tough. You gotta wake up all right.
Every time I meet someone and they say you had the little beginning, I said I enjoyed it, because I would always get asked, "Are you ever going to go higher, like middle school?" And I go, "No, I cannot. I could not do it." I'm like, the attitudes, and then I go in there, they're going to think I'm a kid. I'm like, "No, thank you. I'll stick with the little babies."
Yeah. They're a little moldable yet. You know, when they get into the 6th grade, the 8th grade, they're still pretty snotty, snooty.
Yeah.
But anyway, so financially, I'm guessing the way of earning money has changed. It sounds like you work camp. That's awesome. That'd be a great way to go about, you know, earning a living on the road. But how do you sustain your lifestyle financially? And are there any specific tips you can offer to earning an income on the road, or even budgeting advice while full-time RVing?
Well, we would say that our RV and our truck are both paid for, so we don't have any RV payment or truck payment, right? So that's key, because if we did have a payment on those two things, then we would probably still be teaching and driving trucks.
Yeah.
You know. So what the work camp and how it works for us is we look for those spots that allow us to be there for 3 months to 6 months, and they pay us. However, the site fee is either free or it's very low, and we're talking maybe $170 for the month. And so when we do work, it could be $12 to $14, but if you think about it, we're not paying our site rent. So if we work in 30 to 35 hours a week, you know what I'm saying, a piece, what we make, that's ours. No site fee, no truck payment, no RV payment. Now we have only food, fuel for the truck, and insurance for the truck and RV. Those are our most 3 top high expenses. Yep. But other than that, everything else is we don't splurge. You know, we do a lot of outside things. You know, we hike, we fish, We hike. Oh, I said hike, but we
a lot of
hike some more.
a lot of free outdoors. You know, as far as budgeting tips, don't know who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. Don't get on the road to a new state and think you can just go and go to the mall or go to the movies every time a new movie comes out. Know what you're spending.
Yep.
And how we map it out is whatever we make, of course, we set it aside. Because you may need extra gas or you need extra food. Because for kids, they're eating now. Because now they're homeschooled, they're eating more. So understand to have that account for savings for emergency. But I would say not having a truck payment and RV payment is a big key for us.
Huge. What year is the truck?
2001 Ford F350. I have the 7.3, so we have a legendary engine. Yeah, built to last.
I've considered it. I've considered going to like a 97 250 with the 7.3 in it, but then diesel prices. When you do have a diesel issue, it's basically a new car or an older second vehicle when you have to fix it. But it's legendary.
Right?
It is.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, keeping your expenses low. That means gives you guys the opportunity to keep what you get, right? And work camping is a great way of going about that. You have no expenses, so there's a lot of people like the money chasers, right? I'm one of them. I fall guilty to it. I always chase. It's just how I am. I've played college sports, and that's just it's always out there. Like I have to that way, right? But then then the alter ego in me is like I'm living in a van down by the river. Like don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
So I want to be that, but I also want to be this.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to find that balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find that balance.
Do what makes you happy, right? If you guys are happy and you're killing it, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I commend you guys for that. So, budgeting, you said, just know yourself. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Myself, when I travel, this is one thing that I think a lot of people fall into when they travel a full-time RV or become full-time RVers. They're like, well, we're seeing new things. We're on vacation, but we're not.
Yeah.
This is our life now. We got to be careful about going out to eat. Yeah. Food is like my number one thing when I travel. I'm like, I got to try some of this. I go anywhere near the coast, seafood.
Right. Now, we're not saying, So we're not saying we're not going to go out to eat because we will go out to eat, but you can't do it all the time.
Because we know people who every state they go to, they have to go to a new restaurant in every little town. And I'm like, oh man, that hits your budget real hard.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, every now and then we will do a little something exciting, but it's not very often.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most definitely. You got to live a little, right?
Yeah, you do. You gotta have some fun. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So awesome. So community and connection. So have you guys, since you started, it sounds like you guys found like a sense of community within the RV community immediately. Do you guys feel that same way? And have you hit any RV rallies in the last, or RV rallies, community events, Thousand Trails, full-time families? Have you done any of those things?
We haven't yet.
No,
but we look forward to
it. Yet. No.
But
I think this year we'll be out west, maybe.
Yeah.
And we're gonna hit up. What's that out there they have?
Somebody told us.
One of those van fests out west they have. Is it summer or fall? Yeah, that one.
So we've heard so much about that from different people we've met, and they're like, "You gotta get the course." Like,
I want to get that.
Yes, we've heard that. Yes, so we're like, okay, we're going that way this year, so we'll make sure we hit it up. Yes, yes.
So you haven't really done a whole lot of that, but have you guys found or felt like there's a sense of community within your RV world?
Oh
yes. So our first work camping job, we were there for a year, and every single person from that work camping job we still communicate with. Right. We still talk to regular. We've met what they call us our soul brother and sister. So they are from New York, and we met them out here in Florida at our first work camping job. We still connect with them. We do work camping jobs with them. We are planning on meeting up with them this summer, so we stay connected. Stay connected.
That's awesome. I would love to meet so I've I went to the Tampa RV show and I met a lot of the influencers that I talked to.
Yes.
Instagram's folks, right?
We did that one last year. We did the Tampa RV show last year, and they were asking where we coming back this year, and we were like, no, not this year.
There's a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
We talked. The social battery gets kind of eaten alive. By the end of it, I was like, I just want to crawl in a cave and chill by myself for a minute. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to hear nobody. But everyone seemed very fun, very outgoing, very connected. Very welcoming too. So I can only imagine that it's good for everybody. So I'm glad you guys have found that. So I have a question about work camping then on top of this. Is there when you're at RV parks and you're work camping, is there things for kids to do? Is there events for kids to do or stuff someone putting on something just for the kids in the area to do? I don't know how to explain that better than that.
So most of the work camping places we've worked for KOA. KOA caters to children. They have events for children. Their whole schedule, where they have a whole department which is called the activity department, and the activities department caters to children. They have events every day for children. They have a meet and greet where children get together and meet each other and get to know each other. They do they have so many events that happen during that time. So if, say for instance, during the summertime is really big because they'll have themed days. So each day is a different theme or a different activity, and that way the kids can connect with each other, get to know each other. There's always something for them to do. And also at these different campgrounds, they'll have things like bike rentals where the kids can rent bikes, or they'll have the train ride where the train will run throughout the day. They'll have tie-dye activities. They'll have ice cream. Our first campground we were at, we got so spoiled because we were new to this. They had free breakfast every Saturday, and we were like, what? Is this a real thing? And she was like, yeah, you don't have to pay. So they had free breakfast every Saturday. They would have game night every Thursday. They would have... So every week was something different. Yeah. So every person who was coming to that campground already knew that there were events and what event they would want to do. So it's always something to do.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. I did not know that. I mean, you drive by a KOA, you see the big balloon bubble thing that they jump on, the jumping, what do you know what I'm talking about? And I didn't really know that there was that much at a KOA or even other events. I didn't know that. That's something that
they have events for the young and the old because they had bingo. And I went to bingo thinking that I went to bingo. Listen. Yeah. They have something for everyone. Yeah. Something for everyone.
That's cool. I really didn't know that, so I appreciate you sharing that with me. It's I always try to find something different from everybody because I do ask basically the same questions, and we're starting to transition into more specific, but I had to start with broad, right? So we'll be talking again sometime. Anyway, advice for beginners. What would you guys say that would be someone who's looking into getting to the full-time RV life, who might be on the fence? What were maybe even 3 things you tell yourself looking back now? What are 3 things you would say you need to know this before you transition into RV life?
Our philosophy is it always works out. And I say that because one, we lived in a hotel, right? We got an RV, not knowing what an RV is, no background. We had no truck. We didn't know where to go when we got the RV. But in the end, it still worked out. So I think if you're on the fence, get to a point in life where you just dive into. It's like going for a swim, right? The water is cold. If you tiptoe, you might change your mind. But if you just jump in,
you gotta go full fledged.
Just get the shock out of you, and then once you get in, you're like, oh, I think I can do this. So don't hesitate.
Don't do too much research because too much research will have you second guessing. You won't know which way to go because you've researched so much stuff. You won't know. Well, should I do this or should I have this? So we always say, just go for it. Right. Just go for it.
Baptism.
Start small.
Start
small.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
What do you mean by start small?
Start small meaning some people say, "Oh, I gotta have a bigger RV because I need more space."
Yep. And then they get the bigger one and they say it's too much space. Mm-hmm. And so now they're downgrading.
We see people downgrading, and we say start small is also some people say they need every amenity. Every amenity. They want slide outs when they can come with problems. They want to have electric jacks that go down. They come with problems. Everything we have is manual by hand. Even our awning was manual. So, however, start small. Know what you can handle because you can't bite off too much.
Yep. No, I always say this. Know yourself when you're going into the RV situation. Because if you're going into this RV situation with, oh, but I've seen this, I've seen that. Oh, that's luxury. That's nice. Mm-hmm. But you have to know what you can handle because if you are say for instance, if you're a solo person and you're going to be doing all this on your own, can you do all of this stuff yourself? Can you be able to hook all this stuff up yourself? And is this space going to be enough to accommodate you? If you get a big space, is it too much for you? Or however, you just got to know what you need as a person. And you got to know what you can handle, what you can take on. And also, we always say financially, if your mindset is, I want to go into this debt free, then we always tell people, well, look into the used route first before you go into the dealership route. Because we met someone when we first started, they were going based off of glitz and glam. It looked so good. It just looked so perfect until they signed that contract. And then 2 months after they had signed the contract, they were like, we won't be able to do this. This is too much.
Have for sale sign.
And they had already had a for sale sign and they haven't even had it 4 months yet. Mm-hmm. And so we always tell people, you have to go into it with the mindset. If you're thinking you want to start RV life and you are thinking you want to do it debt free, the used route is always the better route.
Go as minimal as possible. Mm-hmm.
It's a good way to go about it. Start small. Yeah. Live within your means. Yeah. Don't need the glitz and glam like you were saying.
Yeah.
A lot of people go for that. I sold them. I sold those. Yeah. And
they look good.
Oh yeah.
They look damn good. And then you get it home and then you're like, how does this work?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had people they would buy, and we have a full walkthrough every time. Make sure everything's working, make sure understand how to work everything. I'm like, record it. That's what because it's a technician that knows how to do this with every RV. He knows what he's doing. Record it because you will. I guarantee you'll have a question right when you walk away with it or drive away with it. But here's another question on that. Are there any misconceptions about RV living that you'd like to address or maybe have been brought up within your time of running your social pages?
Yeah, so one of the biggest misconceptions that we got when we started RVing from people that we knew were, this isn't something that we do. And when they said something that we do, meaning they're basing their RV life off of, this is for a certain race. So they were telling us, oh, black people don't do that. What are you guys doing? That's not for black people. You don't see black people doing it. And so our answer to that shocked them. We were like, okay, so black people don't do it. We'll do it, and we'll encourage black people to do it. And so we have, so far we have encouraged so many different people to start doing it because they always say, well, we don't see our race out there. And I said, just because we don't see us doesn't mean it's not for us.
Absolutely.
Just because something is not seen doesn't mean it's not for us. So we always encourage people of different genders or different backgrounds to go for it. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Absolutely. Now, question on that. Have you guys caught any hate anywhere by chance?
There was one incident at our first campground, but it got out of hand. but the person that it was one person involved, and so they didn't fire him, but he was like, I guess he was on some kind of leave.
Yeah.
You know, but we had backup. You know, our friends, the campground, the managers, they all had our back. But that was the only one incident. But other than that,
no incidents.
It's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wonderful community.
Everybody's been welcome. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, good for you guys. It sucks that there's people out there like that, you know.
Yeah,
but
it does.
Glad you're helping people get out there and doing their thing, right? Living their dreams. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, this is America.
Yeah.
It's for everybody.
That part, yeah.
So no other misconceptions otherwise?
Nope.
Nope. Let me take a quick second to think about it.
Other than nope. That was the first thing we heard. And that when we heard that came from Shucks. I think it took us when we first started RVing, we didn't tell our family or any of our friends that we started RVing until we had been full into RVing for I think about 3 months. We had already been RVing, and then that's when we told everybody, and they were like, "What the heck is an RV?"
That's not for you.
Yeah, no, that's not. We don't do that. And I remember one of my siblings who now we converted him fully, because at the beginning he was like, Black people don't do that, right? And I go, well, we're going to show you. We're going to show you. Now he's like, oh my God, I'm sick of working. I'm stressed. How do I do this? One day I want to do RV life. You guys look stress free. And I'm like, see, we told you. So yeah,
heck of a time. I'm glad you guys are loving it out there. I'd love to join the full-time community at some point in time. I think it's in my future, just not yet. There's a couple things we got to get in order before that happens. So anyway, so favorite experiences along the way. You guys have been at this almost 3 years now, coming up in April. First 6 months was stationary, but that could be part of the favorite experience. What are some of the favorite things, places, or just overall experiences that you guys have had?
I think I would say when I'm driving and I see a new state sign.
Oh yeah.
And the kids see that new state sign and we
get excited.
Crazy.
Oh, we get excited for new state signs. We have to stop. We have to take a picture. We have to collect. So we have a collection. Every state that we go to, we collect the state map. And then we also try to get the state postcard. So it's kind of, they may not be paying attention when we're entering a new state. So he does this crazy thing where when we're entering the new state, if nobody's paying attention, he'll start yelling. And we're like, what's happening? What happened to we think something happened. He goes, nope, new state. And they just start going crazy. So it's the whole thing. And then we immediately have to pull over to the state sign and take a picture. But as far as
in every state we go to, we do something. We find out what's important or what's sort of significant about that state, and we go and find out. Except for Kansas.
Oh, we got. So we will say we have to go back to Kansas, because when we went through Kansas, it was a horrible experience. It was like a horrible experience. So we were going through Kansas, and we had planned to stop and explore. But as we were going through Kansas, the weather was really bad.
It was a tornado.
And so our children, they do a lot of research about the places that we're going to travel to. So our son had already researched. He already knew they get tornadoes. He said, Mom, they get tornadoes. I don't want to be in a tornado. We were going through, and the radar said, tornado watch. He said, Dad, get us out of here, because I don't want to die. And I go... I said, we're not going to die, son. And bad. We turned around to the back seat. He was crying. He was bawling. And he said, oh, no. Get us out of here. So the only thing they know about Kansas as of right now is we did not want to be there.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, the weather was bad. It was lightning. The wind was blowing by 80 miles per hour. It was bad. So we got
got
straight through.
Where you guys heading west or what?
We were going up to North Dakota.
Yeah, we were headed to North Dakota. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you had to go through Nebraska.
Yeah, so we stopped. So Nebraska is one of our favorites. Nebraska is, because we were in Omaha, And Omaha stole our heart. Yes. Omaha stole our heart.
That's how we're starting this one.
Yeah, Omaha stole our heart. There was so much things to do and so much free things that we stayed there. I think we stayed in Omaha for like almost 3 days. Yeah, almost 3 days.
Wonderful. It's a wonderful city.
Yes. So that's one of our top, Omaha. Yes, it is.
That's awesome. Well, there's other places within Nebraska that I'd point you in the right direction to go check out. But yeah, Omaha is one of those countries, goodness gracious, one of those cities that are it's very, like a couple of years ago, it was like one of the top 10 cities to move to. It's easy to get around. There's a lot of things to do. There's always something going on. There's several concert venues. I mean, a lot of concert venues, wonderful food, chicken wings in Nebraska. Yeah, you heard that? Man. I moved out to Idaho 2 years ago, and the first thing, like, we have every small town bar where I grew up, small town bar, even like, every bar has a wing night, right? Like, hey, it's Tuesday night wing night, 50 cents, 75 cent wings, whatever it may be. There for a while, there was 25-cent wings when I was growing up. It was fantastic to go in there and get $5 would do you. Very much. Yeah, it was way too much. It was for two. But anyway, I move out here and I was like, what's the best place in town to get wings? And Boise's not a small city. I mean, it's the whole valley is about just under 1 million or so, or like 750,000, whatever. It's $1 million. Yeah. And they're like, first people were like, Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm like, shut up. And they're like, Wingstop. I'm like, shut up. I'm like, you guys know, like, what is this? I'm still looking for the wing here in town.
Yeah. Gotta find that. That's small hometown. Yeah. I found the diner. Finally found a good breakfast diner. It's about 45 minutes out of town, but it's good. It's very good. But what about some unexpected benefits that have come to you, like either yourselves or even your family, that like RV life has brought, I guess, to your attention?
Honestly, people. So we will say, being a family of a large family like us, a family of 6, anytime we go places and we meet people who are not RVers and they're like, you do what? And you homeschool your kids. So they're always surprised, and then we'll get a handful of people who will surprise us and be like, okay, so how can I support you guys? Can I follow you on your pages, or do you need like a donation? We're like, no, we don't need anything. We don't. And they'll go, no, take. And so we've gotten people who will donate money to us, and we've then asked, and we're just like, okay. And then we'll get people who are like, okay, we just like really want to support you. Like, how can we follow you we're following you. And one person, she was so supportive because she was like, okay, type in your whatever your social media. I'm following you on every single page. And she did just that. Yeah. And she stayed in contact with us. And she was like, well, I'm family now. And I was like, you are. I was like, this lifestyle surprises you every time you go somewhere.
Yeah, I think for me, I would say for me personally, I would say it allowed me to really slow down my life, because growing up to school, I played sports, I went to college, and everything was so fast. You're not able to slow down and think about what you want for your life or what you've been through, the trauma you dealt with, or the issues you have growing up. So now I'm able to slow down and really just kind of think back of what I've been through. I'm like, dang, I went through that, or I did this. So now I can kind of slow down and kind of heal my thought process so that my kids can have a better lifestyle.
A different appreciation for the reflection of like the rear view mirror, right? It's you go, I use this analogy a lot. Like, you're driving down the road, your life is going that way and you can see very clearly in front of you, right? But you have to reflect on the back, but it's always so small. Like, there's a rear view mirror for a reason. It's meant to reflect on your back. You have to reflect backwards to see what happened, where you came from, but don't dwell on it. It's in the past. Moving. Right. So it's really cool. Yeah. but we didn't cover one thing, and I forgot to ask this. You guys are coming to the stage or the era of your kids' lives, being 13. What do you guys do about sports, or how do you go about doing that? So homeschooling, it's kind of like I missed it. We got caught up in conversation.
I will say, I know. So our first 6 months, our son was into baseball. So he played baseball for a year. He said he liked it. He wants to try it again. So this year, so wherever we are, I look for those recreational spots where it's a small fee or it's free, and we take them there and they get to participate in that sport. My 10-year-old, she's into track. So right now we're in the process of getting her all trained up and running. Our oldest, she's into art. She wants no part with sport. She tried basketball and she didn't like it. She don't want to play softball. So she's all art, And our youngest, he's 6, so he doesn't know quite what he wants to do yet. So we're still trying to figure it out. But the 2 middle, they're into sports. So we go to the YMCA wherever we're at, or we go to the rec center where we're at, and they get involved with sports that way.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I played college football at a small school in Nebraska, and I know that I wouldn't be me, my work ethic, my personality, whoever I am, right, without athletics. So it's like, how would I go about doing that as a parent on the road?
Right.
Or how do parents go about it? There's I-9 Sports. I've heard about that. There's other communities. Right. There's other places where you can kind of step in. They always have So it's just a question I always love to ask of everybody. But what about future plans? Where are you guys going? What do you see your goals as your RV life journey to be in like the next couple of years? Do you guys plan on stopping? Do you guys plan on keep going? What's it look like for the McCray family? What's the McCray way? How about that?
So I think so. So we tend to focus on 1 year at a time. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So I think this year we said that by the end of this year we want to have visited all lower 48 states.
By the end of this year.
So we got to ride.
You better get the move on. You better get on.
Gotta get. Yeah. So that's one major thing, and we also say eventually our plan is to also buy some land. Yeah.
Very nice. Where are you guys thinking?
We're still. I have an idea. He has an idea. So
I love Florida. I love going to the beach. I want to say Florida, but she does have a point where she want to go somewhere else.
Yeah. I'm
so
like,
the idea
is 10 years. I'm like, I want to. So every state we visit, where I was like, this could be home. What do you think?
We did say Nebraska might be a spot. We did say that.
It's on the list.
Yeah, we did say
on the list. It is on the list. We just say
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So,
it's a darn good.
Yeah. So that's it for now.
Yeah.
1 year at a time.
Yeah, we try not to move too far advanced. We have like goals like the buying the land. Our children do want to travel internationally, so internationally is on the list heavily because our oldest wants to go to Tokyo. She's a anime geek, so she wants to go to Tokyo. Yeah. So that is in the future plans, international travel. But as of right now, we want to get them to the U.S. travel first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. The lower 48 by the end of the year. You guys got a ways to go. You've only been in 21 states.
Yeah, we got like 20
you guys got some 27 to go. That's
piece of cake, man.
Better get a move
on. Yeah, we got some good plans for the spring, summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys heading out west at all?
So that west will be our latter part of the year. Yeah. Latter part of the year.
Well, if you come through Idaho, you let me know.
All right, we sure will.
I'm in Boise, so that's a good stop. We'll get you in here, take you out for some Boise dinner. No wings because they're terrible.
right. Yeah.
Oh boy. So we're getting to the last couple of questions here, guys. But so you guys have been at this about 3 years. Are there any like gadgets or gizmos, like RV, the things that are like necessary for your RV life that you have to have, a product of any sort? I I don't know, anything.
We switched our stairs because the stairs that were on our RV, they were old. They were old. Right. They were a nightmare. So we switched those. We have the torque lift.
More right?
Yep. No, we have the torque lift stairs by Torque International. Those stairs are amazing. They are amazing stairs because they're easy to put in, easy to go out. They have the glow in the dark feature. So if you're walking up to your RV at night, you're able to find it. Those stairs are amazing. We switched those stairs so fast because our old stairs were like really hard to put in, push in. They were trouble and rusty. So we switched those stairs.
How many times you messed up your fingers? Who messed up their fingers on the old stairs?
Right. Listen,
they bite back. They bite.
Yes, they do. Let's see, what else did we switch around on our RV? We did. So we're renovating. Right now, we're in a re-renovating type of situation. We're repainting and restyling and redoing, rechanging around the kids' room. And so one unconventional thing that we recently did, which we know people are going to be like, what the heck, and why would you do that? So our bathroom door to our bathroom, we took it completely off. And so, but you still get your privacy. Every person still gets their privacy. So now we have a curtain. So it's much easier because the door would fly open. It kept just like making squeaky noises. It was just a headache. So anytime the kids would close the door, it would either get stuck or you couldn't open it. Or if it was travel day, we noticed that it would always fly open and hit the wall, and we were afraid that it would damage the wall eventually. So we all came up with the idea, how about take the door off and put up a curtain? And so that curtain has been the best replacement we've put up. Everybody still gets their privacy. We have a policy. If the curtain is closed, someone's in there. If the curtain is open, no one's in there. Right. And so it has worked because it works wonders for our 6-year-old who would have a little trouble opening it. So now it's just like, just walk in, walk out. So that has been a great renovation for us.
Yeah. All right, I got one for you. It's right behind you. Let's talk about that.
Oh, our chalk wall, yes.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about that for homeschooling.
That was the first thing we did because everything was brown, which I still don't understand. Why do they do that? Yeah. Every single piece of this RV was brown.
Yeah. It was just the way it was. That's really it. Like, the RV industry is like 10 to 15 years behind the auto industry. So like the older, it's basically like walking into like an 1980s home when you're in a 2000.
Yes.
It just how it was. They were that way. A lot of them. There's still RV companies that stay that way. Like, you guys need to get the program. Like, it's not good anymore.
Everything was brown. So that was an immediate change for us. We changed everything. The walls, the cabinets, the doors, everything got a major upgrade. And I think this chalk wall was our first, and it has been the best because normally we just cleaned it, but normally there's art on here. We have up above us, we have a calendar. We always have like a inspirational quote there. There's always something on this wall.
We're doing math problems, definitions.
Yep. Something's always on this wall. Yeah.
That's a really creative way to go about. It's a really creative way about going about teaching. You know, because you guys, you come from the teaching world, right? You were a teacher for, like you said, about 8 years. Yeah. And that's visual teaching or visual learning is a thing. And now if you don't have that write up in big letters or numbers, whatever it may be, it's kind of hard to maybe catch their full idea. So like you guys taking that and put it on there, and then it gives place, you can't mess up this wall. Go ahead, taking a marker across the fridge,
Oh, listen, we had that in our rental home. Our boys, they took the Sharpie and just went across the whole wall.
I wasn't ever that kid. I wasn't much of a crayon on the wall person, so I got lucky, or my parents did. But anyway, very cool idea. I really like the chalk wall idea.
What else? Is that all?
No, we don't. I don't think keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I think that's it. That we, as far as gadgets or things like that, we always have some type of music wherever we go. So
Yeah.
That's something that we did keep in our RV, the original.
Oh, yeah. So
that original radio.
There's a radio that's in our cabinet between the two cabinet doors. It's up there. And there's a speaker in our room, 2 in the main area, and 1 in their room. And we kept that. Yeah.
You didn't want to change it out?
Gotta keep the tunes, man.
Because we wake up with music, we go to bed with music, so music is a constant part of our lives.
Music feeds the soul.
Yeah, so we kept that.
It does. I am the DJ here at work. I walked into a silent workspace and I could not do it. So last year, Spotify sends you an update, right? Of your kind of recap for the year. I listened just under 100,000 minutes of music last year.
Yeah.
That's a fifth of my life,
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's a lot of time.
That is us.
Yeah.
That is us. We are always listening to music. Always. We go to bed. Our kids go to bed with music. We wake up with music. So music is a constant part of our life. Yeah.
That's awesome. I would have changed it out. I would have kept the music for sure, but I would have changed out. I'm a speaker head. I love if I can't blind out or mute out the rest of the world with music, it's not loud enough. I want immersive this.
Yeah. So we did add a speaker though. We added a speaker. So we have a speaker. We added a speaker, and I just thought about that. We added LED lights. So we have LED lights across the walls where you can't really see them, but at nighttime
it's a whole party, baby.
It's a whole party because we pulled up to campgrounds and people are like, "What is happening in there?" And the lights are blaring, the music is going, so it's a whole it's a whole vibe.
Who are these people?
We got it going.
It's a whole vibe.
Oh goodness. Oh, well, Josh and Lola, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you guys. It's always fun to meet someone new, right? I always appreciate it. Coming from, just wherever, at different places or whatever. I talk to people across the country, and it's really fun for me to hear their story into the RV life and how they go about it. So last question here for you guys. I understand how you guys got into the RV life, but what's your why? Why do you keep doing it? Why do you want to continue doing it? And I know the why. I know kind of why you got into it. It was more about a necessity, but then it was also it's also a choice, right, to do so.
Right.
But why do you choose full-time RV life?
Well, why we got into it, but the question is why keep doing it. Our whole message is to live life on our terms. That's our motto. And so when you live life on your terms, it's a way to show the world that, hey, I can do what I want to do and how I want to do it. Because if you try to play the game, we played the game. We tried to live the 9 to 5, paying rent on time, but we got thrown out to the wolves. So being that happened, it was like, you know what? This can't happen again. And having small kids. What if we didn't have a job where we could go to a new spot? Where will we be? So we keep doing because we want to live life on our terms and to show people that, hey, yes, you may get kicked out or have a repo or whatever. You may lose your job, but you got to get to a point where you say, you know what, enough is enough. And I want to live life the way I want to live life and be happy, be stress-free, and encourage others to do the same. That's why we keep doing it.
It's awesome. Lola, you have anything you add on that or no?
No, I think he hit the nail on the head. Yep. Living life on our terms and encouraging other people to do it as well.
Because if you think about it, we see people every day and they say, "Oh, I'm tired of my job," or "I'm tired of this," or "I'm tired of that. I just want to be stress-free," or but you can do that. You can still have a 9 to 5, but find a way to live life how you want to live it. We're not saying that you got to go buy an RV. We're saying you should live life how you want to live life. And that's our goal. That's our mission to say, hey, you can still have the 9 to 5. You can still grind it out, but find a balance to live how you want to live.
And if you're sick of that 9 to 5, guess what? Do what we did. We quit. It doesn't hurt. You get no strikes against you if you quit. Quit, figure it out, and live life, like he said, on your terms and be happy. Live a happy, fulfilling life.
You get one life, man. That's it.
As far as we know.
That's it, right?
I know. That's it.
That's all we know.
Who knows?
Yes, sir.
Live life on your terms and live it the McCray way. That's what you guys are doing. I'm happy for you. It's commendable what you're doing. I love it. I love it for you guys because that's just, watching your videos, you can tell that you guys are really enjoying what you're doing. So that's awesome. Happy for you guys.
Yes, so we appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Anything else you'd like to share before we close out here?
Stay tuned because something big is coming.
Okay. That's very open-ended. Awesome. Well, everybody out there, give you guys a follow. I have their QR codes and stuff here, but it is the actual handle. What is your actual handle? Living the McCray Way. That's 2 C's.
Yep,
yes,
2 C's.
Awesome. There's all their links. You can check those out there. They have some, that's all your pages, but their YouTube is where they're trying to grow, and their Instagram. You guys got a decent following on Instagram, so good for you guys. I'm still trying to grow mine.
And we getting there. We getting there.
One day at a time.
We getting there.
Absolutely. Slowly but surely.
Yes.
And lastly, I didn't talk about RV Fix, but you'll hear the beginning credits and all that. So everybody out there, please stay tuned for more from the RV Voice. Awesome.